It doesn't take much to be happy. For me, the recipe's simple. Enjoying the natural landscape, a secure home, a loving family to come home to. That all comes pretty close. But all that can be undermined so quickly. All it takes is for us to lose the freedom to make our own decisions, and suddenly our lives are thrown upside down.
Hello, how's it going? Very good, thank you.
That was certainly the experience of Ahmed Zaoui. Ahmed is a scholar, a poet, a family man. But standing for election in Algeria 20 years ago triggered a series of events that turned him into a suspected terrorist and a refugee. When he first arrived in New Zealand, his already lengthy experience of persecution was compounded by a simple misunderstanding.
When I arrived to New Zealand, I was very pleased because I feel that I saved myself and I was thinking about bringing my family. I remember in this time I met a policeman and he said to me, welcome. And I was very happy that someone who persecuted me in Algeria, in my country, to say welcome. And then he asked some questions and he said to me, are you from GIA? I said, FIS. In this time, my English was very poor. When I said FIS, he think that I said to him, yes.
So he thought that you were saying you were a member of the GIA, which is a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
So as a result of that interview in part, you suddenly, quite quickly, found yourself taken to Paremarua prison.
Yeah. No one explained me why, what is your accusation, for what, and in solitary confinement.
For 10 months?
Yeah, for 10 months.
Mm-hmm. So you had come hoping to be received as an asylum seeker, effectively a refugee, and in fact a security risk certificate was issued for you.
It's, that's life.
Well,
that's what I can say.
Well, you can say
life.
that now, yeah.
Yeah, you should expect everything in life. Life is not easy for anyone.
You, of course, are Algerian, and you come from a family that has quite a strong spiritual tradition. Your grandfather was a Sufi?
Sufi, it's like a sect in Islam. But it's like a mystical
tradition.
Yeah. The Sufi, they preserve a lot of culture, especially in the time of colonialism when French tried to ban the Arabic language and try to persecute people. My father also was an imam. You can say it's like a priest. The imam just leading prayer and can give advice, what we call the fatwa. And this advice is not obligatory.
Right.
If you are not happy with this advice, you can go to another imam
to give you get better advice.
Yeah.
So there's no hierarchical authority.
No. In my childhood, I used to go to the Quranic school as any Algerian to learn the alphabetic and some Quranic verses. And the school can say it's secular.
So it's like New Zealand in that regard, that the school system itself is secular.
Yes, similar, yeah.
But you could go and learn your religious understandings from the Sunday school or the church or whatever.
Yeah.
But you went to university in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. My father was keen to send to me to study religion. In this time in Algeria, some people can't understand the context in our country. The most of people is Muslim. We have a tiny minority of Christian and Jewish. But in this time in 80s, we haven't any school who teach the religion.
So the government after the French left, which was 1962.
It's 1962, yeah.
Was a one-party socialist, secular, almost evangelically secular state.
Yeah.
And didn't leave any room for religious education.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
So you went to Saudi, where you could study Islamic teaching in particular, or religion more generally.
It's a religion in general. You know?
So you learned about the diversity of different understandings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then came back to Algeria, and what did you do then for a living?
Enrolled in University of Algiers to finish my master. After 1 year, I became like a teacher in university.
Okay. You were married at a reasonably young age?
24.
24?
Yeah, when I was studying in Saudi Arabia.
How did you meet your wife?
Maybe the context is different today. In Algeria, most of people, it's through the family.
Okay.
And this time, things now get changed with the internet, with
Yes.
with everything. Yeah, but we are happy in our life, in our marriage.
Yeah, and you have 4 children?
I have four kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
اسمح لي كلمتك ويمكن قطع.
Towards the end of the 80s in Algeria, it had been a one-party government and it was coming under pressure to actually have some free elections.
Yep.
You were approached to stand for one of the parties, the FIS.
Yeah.
Tell me about the FIS.
It's an Islamic party which try to change the life of people, because a lot of corruption in our country, third world. It's closed from the world. We don't know what's happening in the world like today. And I recognize that all parties, included my party, made mistakes. And, power is still power. Even
Yes.
Yeah, power is still power.
Power still corrupts,
Yeah.
huh?
Yes, still corrupt.
It was the people who pushed him to become a candidate for the party. He didn't want anything to do with it. He was more interested in religion and being an imam.
I was reluctant because it's political compromise, and always my nature is to make people together and to,
To seek dialogue.
Yeah, but I'm not. It's not excuse about when I choose, but this life. That's what I.
The FIS, when you say it's an Islamic party, in the context post 9/11, that sounds militant.
Yeah, it's hard to. We should be objective about what was happening in my country, what's happening now in our countries, in Muslim countries. It's very difficult situation, and very difficult to understand the context.
The election was held, and actually your party, the FIS, did very well.
Yeah, won the election with the majority.
So the government of the day, because they lost, set the results aside.
Included the emergency state. The police can do everything.
You yourself, and I imagine lots and lots of other people who were involved with the FIS, were then interrogated?
Yeah, a lot of people, included my dad, deported to a camp where French used to make the atomic tests for 5 months. Yeah, more than 40,000 people have been arrested in such a camp.
Was there a reaction to this coup by the government?
That's the beginning of the civil war in Algeria.
Yep.
And a lot of people came from Afghanistan and start to organize themselves. And the Algerian government as well organized some terrorist group, and they create like a bad atmosphere.
After about a year, you decided that you needed to leave the country. Why was that necessary?
It was necessary to save my life, to save my family. Even my family was, some of members of my family was arrested. My wife was watched by the regime.
And that began a long process for you of effectively time in exile from Algeria.
Sure.
Yeah. You went all over Europe, really.
Yeah.
How were you treated?
When I arrived to Belgium, I was like any normal refugee. But after the Paris bomb,
Yes.
by the GA and behind the GA, the Algerian government, I had been arrested.
So there was an explosion in France.
Yeah, explosion
which
in France.
Was,
which
was sponsored by the GIA, and behind them, you're saying the Algerian government.
The Algerian government don't want opponents talking from France or from Belgium. And then I found myself in prison for 5 months. And then after this, the judgment was I was innocent.
The Belgian government in this case, and later maybe the Swiss, were responding to pressure from the Algerian government.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I can give you an example for Swiss government. Swiss government, when they deported me, they pay my trips.
So they wanted you out of the way.
Yeah, it's normal to get persecution because you are an opponent for the Algerian government, and you should expect the worst. Yeah.
This had been years that you had been under pressure from the various governments of the places that you were staying, and it must have been very difficult.
Yeah, sure. You stir my pain when you talk about this. Yeah, it was very difficult, especially when you have with your family with you, watching by police and interviews and a lot of media.
Finally, you found yourself in Malaysia.
The Swiss government pay for my journey. I have enough money, more than today in New Zealand, really, yeah. But the level of life is very low.
But you couldn't stay in Malaysia either.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So why come to New Zealand, you know?
That's the main question from most of people of New Zealand. I mean, people who try to understand my case, why you came to New Zealand, why you got a fake passport.
Yeah.
But people, maybe they can't understand the state of necessity. State of necessity obliged you to do everything to save your life. I haven't any passport. I haven't any choice. And then I found New Zealand, it's far away from Algeria. And then this time I want to retire from...
As far from Algeria as you can.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. I want to retire from political life, to have a bit of rest, to look after myself, to look after my kids, to gathering my... You know, when we were in Malaysia or another country, when we see the police, we scare.
Yeah.
Till we came here to New Zealand. Now just sometime we talk about with my kids and my wife, and that we have now peaceful life. When we see the police, we can't scare from them. But we used to want to see the police, we scare.
Yeah. So after all this, you finally arrived in New Zealand and suddenly found yourself in solitary confinement in Paramaribo. You must have been devastated.
No, I always expected the worst. That's maybe my heritage. I used to see my dad. He used to cope with problems. My dad, when he got angry, he go to sleep. And I found myself in prison, sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's prison. It's a stage. It's a stage of life. It's for me. I'm not saying prison is good. Prison always is bad. But prison also was a stage for me to clean myself, to look at myself, to think about what's happening in the world, to be a philosopher.
Okay.
Prison is a stage. Let me meet good people like you and others, and people recognize your struggle. When I was in prison, I always crying. Maybe some people, they say that the crying, it's like a weakness.
Yeah.
But it's not. Through the crying, you clean yourself. And I wrote a poem about crying, and they say, if the world, all the world they cry, our life will be fine, will be good. That's because our politicians, they don't cry. They put you in prison, they don't care about you.
While you were in prison, you wrote poems. Why did you do that?
Poems is a way to breathe. It's like a windows. I haven't this time in any windows. Even I draw a moon and a sun in my room because I stayed more than 1 year, didn't see the sun and didn't see the moon. Poetry is a way to express myself, to express my pain. Until Yusuf comes onto the stage, prison has not only turned me into a small child,
but into a spoiled lover as well. Because I am always waiting. I'm like a child waiting for his father to come back, and like a lover who waits impatiently for his beloved.
It's a painful story. One day Yusuf called me through the phone.
This is your son?
Yeah. Called me on the phone and asked me why Dad you didn't come. And I said to him, I can't because I'm working and something like this. And there was a fellow inmate called Josh. He is a good guy. He involved with some gang. And this guy is very good man. And I asked him to talk to my son Yusuf. And my son Yusuf, he understands just a bit of English because. And then I said to him, he's my boss. And then he talked to him. He said he will come back to you one day or something like this. That's keep me happy and keep me strong.
The hope of that being reunited with your family.
To my family. Yeah, the hope it's my motto in prison.
As for you, Yusuf, I am full of praise for you. Your acting triumph was related to me. As you wait in the wings, your performance is already better than that of the finest actor in the world.
I try always to evaluate this time and try to make sense for my life. Don't say it's black, just black.
One of them I know is called, what is the Algerian for rugby?
It's funny.
What's that about?
It's funny because most of people I meet them in prison when they allowed me to mingle, when they shift me to Mount Eden prison. All people they asking, where are you from?
Where are you from? Algeria. Nigeria? No, I said Algeria. Is it near Iraq? Smiling. No. Is it near Afghanistan? No.
My fellow inmate asked me, did you meet Saddam Hussein? Have you been with Bin Laden? All these questions.
All the same questions.
I'm bored with these questions. And I tried to do like a piece of poetry on it.
When you were in prison, did your faith waver?
Faith for me is like waves.
Sometimes very strong.
Very strong sometimes, yeah. That's human being.
Yeah.
That's human being. I remember when I was in prison, when they allowed me to mingle with the prisoners through the gate, and someone said to me, "Are you blaming your God?" I start to smile.
Are you blaming your God?
I'm blaming your God. I said I never been blaming my God. I'm blaming myself. If I'm blaming myself. I can't judge my God.
Towards east or west, but it is righteousness to believe in Allah and the last day and the angels and the book and the messengers, to spend of your substance out of love for Him.
Have you been conscious of the presence of God all your life?
Sure. I think if you are not conscious about the presence in your life, then you can't have a genuine faith. I mean, always God, it's in my life.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see the signs of God?
I sign in myself.
In yourself?
Sure, in myself. How could be Ahmed Zaoui came from Muslim background and find a lot of Christians who cry for him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that God talked to me or something like this. I'm not pretending. But God always present in our life.
When we give generously out of the good things which Allah has provided for us, we increase our true wealth.
So do you think the question, which is perhaps a very Western question, how you can reconcile injustice with the reality of a good God, a God of love, is that a problem for you?
No, I think the problem is in the in the Christianity theology,
Yeah.
God is love.
Yes.
And God, He do everything He created the earth, He created everything. But unlikely in the Islamic theology, when they said God created the good and the bad. But a human being is responsible for his deeds.
So God is responsible for the good and the bad, and we are responsible to choose our way.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
فقال يا قوم إني لكم نذير مبين أن اعبدوا الله واتقوه وأطيعون يغفر لكم.
How long did it take before you became aware that there were people who were, if you like, on your side?
Till Deborah Manning.
Deborah Manning's advocacy for you made quite a difference.
Sure, she's a great woman. She very clever. She's very humanitarian woman.
Mr. Zaoui is a refugee deserving of New Zealand's protection.
The duration of the hearing was 8 days, 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And I was in this time in solitary confinement. I haven't all the material to defend myself, but they arrived that I am a genuine refugee.
His case really isn't over until that National Security Risk Certificate process is finished and he gets the protection of New Zealand that he deserves.
In December 2004, after 2 years, you were released to the Auckland Dominican Priory. How did you find these strange Christians who wanted to have this maverick Muslim in their midst?
No. It's not strange at all, because I used to have a relationship with the Christian in Algeria. Christianity is a part of Muslim heritage. You can find in the Koran Jesus Christ is mentioned more than 92 times, and the Prophet Muhammad mentioned just 2 times. When Deborah suggested to me to go to the Mangri camp or to the church, I said, church, for sure. Get more understanding, learn from them, they learn from me. Good people, some of them very funny, like Father Chris. This is very funny.
2007, your security risk certificate was withdrawn, and your family were finally able to come and join you again.
So I am happy and I am delighted. And I can say that I am relieved.
He now wishes to start his life in New Zealand and he hopes to see his family very soon.
What had life been like for them all this time?
You can't imagine, if you have 4 sons, 4 boys, you need to look after them and to control them. It's hard for my wife, but my wife was brave and courageous, and she do well.
Did this feel like a beginning?
My kids, they grow.
Yeah.
They separated from them 5 years. Yeah, it's I need to have another relationship with them and to arrange everything, and it's like a new life. I think it's a new life to be with your family here in New Zealand.
بسم الله اللهم بارك لنا فيما رزقتنا وقنا عذاب النار.
I like that my kids find their way to live, whatever, Algeria or New Zealand, to have the choice and to be successful in their life, to achieve their goals, to at least participate in the society. And it's like, I feel that the New Zealander, I owe them something to back to them.
You came to Palmerston North initially to play soccer. Are you still playing soccer?
Yeah, sure. I play table tennis.
Yeah.
But table tennis just between 2.
Yeah.
Like a monologue.
Yeah.
Between 2. But soccer, it's like Like it's a collective game, and there are a lot of fun on it, and I like it.
That's good.
Oh.
You feel welcomed.
Yeah, I feel very welcome. Yeah, very welcome. And that's most important. If people say no, then I can respect their choice and I can say I will leave New Zealand. But people now meeting me at the street, they said, can't shake your hands.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
I know who you are.
You know who I am?
You've started a family business right in the heart of Palmerston North in the Square.
I need to work. I don't want to stay at home. It's hard for immigrants to find a job, to get freedom. People can't give you freedom. You should get it. Also job, you should get it.
Somebody told me that you said it was the Algeria of the South Pacific.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. Yeah, when I came first time to Palmerston North, I have seen the gorge. And we have a place in between my city and another city called Chifa, similar to the gorge. Just our mountains, it's more bigger. We have the river, we have the train, we have the mountains, and we have monkeys. And in Palmerston we have monkeys.
Will you return to Algeria?
Hopefully one day. Yeah, still hoping, because I left my books, my family, my friends, even my books. I love my books. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, one day maybe.
Having chosen your way, and given that you have experienced persecution, do you hope for vindication in the future?
I think I got my vindication
now.
While I am with you talking, I have my freedom. My case is over. Just maybe all what I hope to meet my family and to get back one day, to return to my own country and to participate and try to implement this experience, what I got in New Zealand and other places in my country, and to help my people.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.